Okay, hi everyone. My name is Layla. Welcome back to everyone who knows me. For those who don't know me, my name is Layla. I'm a 3D character artist and I stream here, wherever you are. Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. You're most likely on either Maxon's or ZBrush's channel. So, welcome. Today we'll be continuing working on Zelda, as you can see. For those who don't know, she is one of the main characters from Zelda series. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So yeah, she is almost complete. All she's missing are her sandals, and obviously her dress needs a bit more work, as well as the detailing on the front piece here. But overall, she's almost good to go. Oh my god, this character has come so far. Thank you. By the way, guys, you can let me know if you want me to turn on the chat. It would be here, but then it will take up some space from the canvas. But if you prefer it this way, I can keep it on. All on streams, I suppose. Ah, you mean like... Oh, thank you. Nah, she looked like a goblin on the first 3 or 4 streams. But that's how all my artworks look like when I start working on a new project. Do you work after streams? I meant. No, not on this character. Like, I usually do, and there was one time that I worked between streams, but I usually don't get enough time between work and life and doing some sort of sports, just not to die at a very young age from sitting in front of the computer for 10 hours or 13 hours a day. So I didn't get a chance to work on her off stream that much. Good morning, what time is there now? So it's 6:56 AM here in New Zealand. If I feel sleepy, it's because I am. I've had people come in on stream and say, hey, why are you high? I'll be like, I'm not high. Pretty sure I'm not high. Just sleepy. And smoking pot. Thank you. Too busy with that too. I don't do that. So don't have time for it, and it doesn't align with my life values. Could you share your ZBrush custom UI? I could. I just don't remember how to save it out. I can research it and drop it in Telegram. I'll share a link to my Telegram. In the chat. Yeah, I'll remember to save it out and publish it there. It's a community that I'm trying to maintain. I haven't been active for the past week or so because I've been having some health problems that I had to deal with. But yeah. Cool, let's get started. I mean, we could start blocking out her sandals. I know it's not the most fun thing to do, but I could show off some cool tricks with ZModeler, I guess, to make them, so let's make them. Not sure what's going on at the back, but they saw all the images that I could get. Hello, hello, hi. So let's create the sole of the sandal. To that, we'll be using a plane, an old trusty plane. Let's turn it 90 degrees and turn double-sided on so we can see both sides. I'll also switch to basic material and roughly scale it to size. Doesn't have to be. So one thing I could do would be to isolate the feet. And then only keep the plane and the feet active, and now I have like a good view of what I need to mask out. I'll subdivide it. At any point you guys have any questions in regards to what I'm doing, just drop them in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them. So I deleted the levels of subdivision, Ctrl-Shift clicked on the area that I need. Oh, sorry, before that I masked it and I hit Ctrl-W to create a polygroup, delete levels, Ctrl-Shift click to isolate the group, and now we can delete hidden. All of these buttons are sort of scattered throughout the UI. I just put them all on my menu for easy access, and I recommend you do the same after you familiarize yourself with all of them. So I wouldn't recommend doing this on your first day in ZBrush, maybe a few months in, maybe half a year in. You know what all of these do and you just need them like close to you. So most of them are from here. Geometry, modify topology. Yeah. Hi, yeah. What is exploring character appeal? What would you be doing? So it's a generic title that I chose when I started streaming at ZBrush. It mostly means that when I work on a character, you'll see me sort of changing the proportions quite a bit, maybe trying to match a concept from time to time. So that would, in my head, that's what exploring character appeal means. Oh my, what are these? I really need to clean up my subtool palette. Yeah, so this is the character I'm working on. Maybe I could have it to the side. somewhere here. So exploring character appeal is just exploring the possibilities of making a character look appealing, look good. And that's what I do with all of my characters. Cool, now that we have this outline, this shape of the sole of the sandal, we can go in deformation and polish by groups a couple of times, which will smooth out the border. And why do we need that? It's because ZBrush likes smooth borders, and it usually gives better results when you do that. I might as well add one loop around, and in ZBrush keep the groups on, maybe bring the smoothness down. Something about this. That's pretty good. Let's cut it down in half. Yep, that's not too bad. Hello, nice job. Thank you, Karen. Well, we can now turn this dynamic subdivision on and fake the thickness for the time being. Just in case if I need to adjust them, it will be easier to do with a one-sided mesh rather than doing it with a two-sided mesh. So yeah. Cool. At the moment the feet are clipping through, but I'll fix it a bit later. What I might do is I might straighten out this curve. Cool. Now let's Ctrl-Shift-D the body of the character. Now I want to bring it to something like this. And all we need are her feet. Cool. Now let's start with a simple one, just one strap that goes from one side to the other. All the way across. I'll just use curved strap snap. Should work. If you have some wobble in your curve, you can click on it. With the blue circle popping up, you have to press, I think, Shift on your keyboard, and it will smooth out the curve itself. If you just smooth out without clicking with the blue circle turned on, it will smooth out the mesh and not curve. The other way of doing that is hitting 6 on your keyboard. It will naturally smooth out the whole curve. Might work for you. It doesn't work in my case. So wondering if it's thick enough. Maybe slightly bit thicker, maybe like 26. You guys aren't very active in the chat today. Are you all sculpting or just watching me sculpt? Ritopo and Maya at the moment listening. Oh, cool. Oops, caps. That's okay. You must be really focused on that Ritopo then. I just did my Ritopology on another character the other week. I think I showed it on stream last time. I also did it in Maya. Parts of it were done in ZBrush, I'd say like 40% of it. But they have a 60 I did in Maya. So with this one I'm gonna change the size. So it kind of like tucks in between the thumb, the big toe and the small toe. Not the thumb. Hi Layla, hope everything is great. I'm sculpting and watching you do some sandals. Hey, what are you sculpting? Ritopo, gross, lol. Can be annoying. I wouldn't say it's gross, but yeah, not a huge fan of Ritopo myself. Some people find it meditative, but not me. Hey Layla, Zelda's coming along great. Thank you. Do you only stream here on Pixologic or do you also stream on your own personal channel? I did a feedback stream recently on my YouTube channel where I asked people to submit their artworks for feedback if they wanted to. I'm intending to do more of those in the future, just not very frequent, because it does take away quite a bit of time to go through each artwork and give feedback. I just don't get a lot of people on my YouTube channel, so I mostly, if I do stream there, it's maybe like 4 or 5 people that show up, and I don't get to answer questions, and I like doing that. I like chatting with you guys. It's a bit of a catch-22 because if I don't stream there, I don't get followers, right? Or I don't get people to know me. But then I don't stream because there are no people there. It's a bit of a barrier that I need to get over. I'm going to sit down one of these days and learn to retoken ZBrush using these spheres. You can? Sure. It's one of the ways to do it. And again, like as I said, in that project, 40% of the stuff was modeled with ZModeler, so I didn't really need to do any retopology that I've already done in ZBrush. But sometimes I do need some manual cleanup, and I prefer a Maya tool for that, or like having polygons snap on the surface, like making it live and making all the polygons attract. There are some ways to imitate it in ZBrush, like you said, using these spheres. But hey, we all have our own preferences. I'm not saying that ZBrush is the only software out there capable of doing 3D stuff. It's not. It's just an amazing software for sculpting and modeling and texturing, and with 2023 even rendering. Hello artist. Hi, Krugner. Layla, what the best ways getting slope like an angle on bottom of jaw? Would you sew clay build-up, then smooth check the side view? Sometimes difficult to stop to get slope that curve around with by using more brush. Okay, so what I got from this was that you're trying to get this angle, sculpting the bottom of the jaw. Would you use clay build-up? What? YouTube, don't ban me. Let me do it this way. So right now I already have like good topology, so it's naturally that the slope will happen better if I start sculpting in it because the topology allows for it. But yeah, usually I would like attach a head to the neck that are somewhat straight, and then I'll start smoothing in between them, and it will create a natural curve in here. You can also go over it with some clay buildup, like so, smooth it out. Move brush also, but don't use it on high subdivision because it will create unevenness. Use it on low and then adjust. Using good reference also helps. Yeah. I hope that answers it. The angle bottom of jaw, like near the teeth. Near the teeth. The angled bottom of the jaw. Yeah, that's an angled bottom of the jaw. No? near teeth. It's from the blockout stage, not necessarily this model. Bottom jaw. So you're splitting the bottom jaw and the top one in 2 halves? Where the longer slope? What's a longer slope? We can't use the move brush. Why can't you use the move brush? Sorry, I'm a bit lost. You mean like inside the mouth itself? The blockout stage has flat areas. I'm not sure what you mean, but you mentioned teeth a couple of times, so one way to do it would be to drop down the transpose tool, mask out the area that you need, then Ctrl W. That's what I did. And now you have access to the inside. You can grow the selection by using Ctrl Shift S. Oh, sorry, Ctrl Shift X. And Ctrl Shift S will detract the polygons. And now you can sculpt on the insides of the mouth if you want. I don't currently want that. Was that your question? Because the move brush is round in diameter. Pause angle. Sorry, I'm not getting what you mean. I need to get back to other questions, but I'll come back to it. ZBrush is amazing, but for game character creation, other softwares are needed in order to optimize workflows for sure. Yeah. You can use some ZBrush stuff as a base and then rework it, but it really depends on your workflow if you really want to do that. Sometimes it saves time, sometimes it doesn't, because ZBrush has a tendency to create spirals, and I know it doesn't really work well for games. Sometimes you can get away with it in animation, especially if the object does not deform, it's just a rigid object, then it can be fine, but yeah. Oh cool, I just subscribed to your YouTube channel. I'm looking forward to checking out your future streams. I'll be sure to ask lots of questions. Okay, cool. You can also subscribe to my Instagram if you want to, or Telegram, whichever one works. There was a link in the chat to that. I'll make sure to post updates before I stream. Okay, you can what sculpt inside? Sorry, I'm not quite getting a question about the angled part of the bottom jaw near the teeth. I would imagine it's this. Yeah, you can get inside of the mouth by creating a polygroup, and then you can sculpt inside with whichever brush you want. I usually use clay buildup and move on the insides, and smoothing as well. Okay, getting back to the feet. So we're currently missing the back piece of the sandals, which is this one. The best way to make it would be push D this one, delete hidden, maybe subdivide it once, and now we can sculpt that thing. Same drill as always. Delete geometry, Ctrl W to create a polygroup, isolate it, delete hidden. Information. Do I have it here? Polypic groups. No. I should bring it into my menu. And I'll show you how to do that. I won't. Let's pin it to the side and I'll turn off the chat for a second. Let's say you wanted to bring one of the buttons to your custom menu. You go to Preferences, Configuration, Enable Customize, which will kind of like enlarge the dark gray areas of your canvas, which will signify that you're in customization mode. Then I think Ctrl-Alt-click on the button that you want, and now you can drag it and drop it. I'll put it somewhere there because it has to do with polygroups. Once you're done, disable the customize. We can close this tab. And now I have it here. To save it for the next time, is it save UI? Probably is. I'll save it somewhere. Save and store, I guess. One of them saves the button in place, so I just always do both of them. If you guys know which one specifically makes the button stay, I would appreciate that. Oh wow, okay. So when you're looking at characters, what are some of the things you first look for when determining the appeal of that character? So it will depend on whether you have a concept or not. If you have a set concept that you're working with, then it's about matching the key shapes, because the concept artist has already thought, as they have gone through the process of creating an appealing character. That's one thing, but if you're creating one from scratch, I would say determine their age, their gender, maybe race, just like human races, or maybe it's completely like alien race. Does it have wings? Does it have like elven ears or a tail? You know? And then color palette is an important one. So it's good to have some references of what you want to create. Do not just make up color schemes unless you're a very trained 2D or 3D artist with years of experience of creating successful color combinations. Do not attempt to do it without any reference. Always have reference. So yeah, think about those 5 things prior to creating a character if it's your own creation, not based on any existing IP. But it's a very deep question and a good one, but it's a bit hard to answer it in just like one sentence. Say the shape language and negative space define a good character. And by shape language, I mean the relation of shapes in the character. And negative space is sort of the silhouette of the character. And for silhouette, here in ZBrush we have a really neat feature that I turned off and go thumbnail. It will show the thumbnail of your geo. Currently I have feet selected, so I only see that. If you click on sort of a corner, even though it's invisible, you can scale it up. And you can clearly see the silhouette of her foot. Just to check your silhouette a bit easier. I'm gonna turn it off for now. Do you draw your subjects before going to sculpting them, or just look at the references? I don't draw them unless it's a specific character that doesn't exist on the internet, and it's my own creation. Then I have a concept, yes. But my 2D skills aren't as good as my 3D skills, so usually concept art made by me looks really janky, which is okay. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect for you to create a good 3D artwork. You just need to have an idea, right? Hi Layla, hi Prashan. Very good points, thank you for your insight, and yes, it's not an easy answer, hehe. So many things can determine the appeal. Yeah, for sure. But man, color is a big one. I've seen so many cool sculpts with good anatomy, good pose, good idea, you know, but then the colors are chosen quite poorly and your eye is just not drawn to it, as in like an artwork on ArtStation, let's say. Ma'am, do you make hand fingers? Hand fingers, yeah. I sculpted them. I concept write in ZBrush. Good for you. There are 3D concept artists. Now that creates a mesh. That just slices it. I need a knife, right? These brushes are all so similar. Okay, I'll do it this way. So I need to create a very sharp angle. Also, I'll turn on local symmetry. Okay. Let's select this one, delete hidden, turn on local symmetry, mirror and weld to make it symmetrical. I'll explain why in a second. Keep it on, then slice curve. Gonna slice it, and it doesn't work. So from the images that I have, this is sort of what it looks like. So I'm cool with that. Now let's ZBrush it. That's not bad. Just want to get rid of some edge loops. As you can see there, the zero measure didn't connect 2 points, so I went to modify topology and I welded them. Yeah, I don't have it here. Wait, so we now have clean shape. Can you give me some ideas to make hand, because I'm not good at that? Google 3D hand blockouts and it will give you a pretty good idea. Some people who have sculpted hands a lot can do it straight out of just sphere, but I prefer to do it this way. One moment. Hand blockout. So you basically create a skeleton for your future hand by separating all the phalanx and all the parts of the hand into pieces. And then you kind of like mush them all together and you have a really good base to go off of. Cool. By the way, do you usually finalize your textures using poly paint, or do you use other softwares like 3D Coat or Substance Painter? I rarely ever finalize them here. I know that a lot of creature artists do that. They get really good diffuse maps out of here, but I like to finalize them in Substance Painter just because I import in my poly paint and then I add like a bunch of stuff on top of layers. Just the way I work. Plus I add roughness there and bump and like normals and whatnot. Do you use target polygon count in order to pose your models or animate? Target polygon count in order to pose your models. What's target polygon count? In ZBrush? In order to pose your models or animates. How can you use it to... Do you mean can I use ZBrush to pose my models and animate? A max limit. Well, I try to keep it consistent between all the subtools, so I don't have crazy dense wireframe on one model and very loose one on the other. I try to keep them consistent. Do I use ZBrush as like a raw thing? Sometimes I do. But most of the time it requires some cleanup. I use target polygon count when using ZBrush. I don't necessarily use it to pose my model or animate. I want to add some support loops for those of you in game development and does not make sense. Or maybe you know about it, so it does make sense, but you don't use it. Either way, I need those. Now let's turn on dynamic, looks good. You can edit some thickness. Give it some thickness. And yeah. I'll keep it this way for now. Moving on. Still needs this scrap going across her ankle itself. Goes from here to here. Oof. I need some cleanup. Okay, next one. Okay, so she's got these 3 pieces on the side. We're gonna create now, and then we'll create this piece in the middle. Gotcha. Cool. Have you worked both in animation and film studios? If so, do you prefer one over the other? I've only worked in an animation studio, never in film, although we get outsourced projects. Some of them are for film, so I've modeled both in realism and stylization. So, but it was the same studio. Which one do I prefer? I prefer stylization, as you can tell from most of my characters. They're all stylized. Most of them, yeah. Is that character could be used in game? This character? No. I mean, nowadays she probably could, but you'll need to optimize her topology, because currently it's a bit too high res. Maybe the body is fine for the games, but the face would need some optimization. Or is it just model? Could be used animation. In animation, but not in the game probably. Hi Layla, hi Gazi. Do you split and attach parts when posing, or do you use a mask selection? Split and attach parts when posing. I use transpose master, right? This thing. It combines all of the meshes into one. And then you can use masking in order to isolate certain parts and move them around in the scene. How do you change level of polygons like you just did? Level of polygons. Like I just did. What did I just do? You mean this one? Or this one? Oh, that one. Those are subdivision levels that I already had. So you need to have subdivision levels in the geometry tab. You add them by hitting Ctrl D or just hitting divide. If you hover over the button, it will tell you Ctrl D, like the hotkey for it. Switch between them, you just hit D and it will subdivide the mesh to the maximum. If you want to go back, it's Shift D. D, Shift D. D and Shift D. Oh thanks, it's work on without delete lower. Will it work without? You need to have levels, yeah. If you don't have any levels, it will not work. sort of a hotkey to switch between the levels. But if you don't have the levels, there's nothing to switch between. Okay. I still have it selected. Cool. Now, how would I go about that? I'll try a few things. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. Let's turn on elastic. Or liquid. Yeah, liquid works better. If you ever need to remove some of the polygons that you've created, liquid is pretty good for that. Sweet. Now turn it off. Now let's go into ZModeler, and I'll add a loop here, and I'll explain why in just a second. Let's delete an edge. Bridge two edges together, and extrude a polygon. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. Now let's group it together. Now because we grouped it, pretty sure we can do some adjustments like taper. Was the topology done with ZBrush or was it retopologized by hand? Neither. You can check out maybe 3 streams ago or 4 streams ago. I used a plugin called ZWrap where I transferred topology from a good mesh with like a finalized topology for animation, I guess, onto my sculpt. So yes, it was retopologized by hand by someone, but no, it wasn't zero mesh. So it's a bit of a tricky one. Except I want to delete some loops. One, two, three. Trying to match the positioning a little bit better. Let's group by normals. And we can go to brush, auto masking, mask by groups, which will allow us to only smear and mold everything. Which will allow us to only work on a certain polygroup, so it will not work on the others. If you have that mask by polygroups turned on. Nice, I use the standalone wrap software myself, love it. Yeah, it's a good one. I'm starting to look at the character creator post tools plugin for ZBrush. Looks like a great for workflow for composing characters. Yeah, I saw that. I haven't tested it out myself, but I would be keen. Oh, yuck. Okay, so we need to delete this one and bridge some stuff. Let's turn on this dynamic subdivision to see what it looks like. I might have actually gone overboard with the support loops. I don't need that many. And I really don't really need this sharp edge here. How would I get rid of that? Okay. Let's delete those groups. Make this one polygroup. Color my groups? Nope. Let's extrude the polygroup inwards. And then let's select it and flip it. Huh. We can split it and flip it now. How come does it have a morph target? Let's flip it. And yay, it's more of a shape that I'm looking for. Hide it. Okay, at this point we could either duplicate it. We need to fit 3 of them in the middle. Do you play any video games? I sure do. Played Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Breath of the Wild. Then I'm a hardcore Witcher fan. Witcher 3 and Witcher 2. Played them both. What else have I played recently? I haven't had time in the past few months to play much. But before that, I think I completed Horizon Forbidden West. It was a really beautiful game. And before that was Nier Automata. Really good. Story-wise and just the game itself. And I've been playing some Raft as well, which is a survival game. For those who don't know, if you want to duplicate a mesh, you just hold Ctrl and drag it. You can mask it as well and control and drag stuff that you want. Just make sure that you mask the whole mesh, otherwise it will not work. Like, don't mask up part of it, because in that case we'll just move it, it will not duplicate it. I also feel like this thing should be a bit lower. Looks so cool. Thank you. Awesome. We both play all the same games. I'm currently playing FF16 and trying to finish Hogwarts Legacy. Final Fantasy 16. Oh wow. There are 16 Final Fantasies? I lost count at like 11th, probably. It's never the Final Fantasy, is it? I wonder what they're gonna call the last one. I agree, Horizon Forbidden West was such a gorgeous looking game. I was impressed by NPC animations. Yeah, they improved a lot. Plus they got inspired, let's say, by some mechanics from Breath of the Wild with the paraglider thing. So everything I did in that game was just to climb up as high as I could and then jump off. And just look at all of that gorgeous terrain. It was just so beautiful. I felt like I was playing Horizon wrong, but but it was so cool to do that. Final for real fantasy, haha. Yep. Something along those lines. Final Fantasy, the search for more money. I don't think they're on the search for more money. They know that the loyal fan base will always buy a new game. Just like Nintendo knows that every player that has ever played any game in the Zelda series will buy Breath of the Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, what I'm trying to do is sharpen the mask. But it doesn't seem to work very well. Have you used blend shapes before for like facial expressions? Have I? I've made some facial expressions for the same character, which could be a blend shape, yeah. I don't think it was set up properly as a blend shape. But you can even use them in ZBrush. Move morph target. If you store a morph target first and then import in the mesh with the same topology as your current one, but with a different expression, you can switch between one and the other as a blend shape here. I've used it to fix some stuff in the past. Let's say I made some changes to the character in their face and I like that, but then I changed the hands and I don't like that. I like the previous version better. What I can do, I can go back a version. Oh, by the way, speaking of versions, I should really save in like an hour and 15 minutes without saving. Yes, alright, so you can go back a version, save out an obj of your geo on the lowest subdivision level. Go into your geometry, store morph target, and then go in here and import your new mesh. And now you can switch between the new version and the other version, or you can even use the morph target brush. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, now I'll Ctrl-Shift-D. I'll isolate this part. Oh, delete. Now I'll do mirror. And I'll try to position it so I don't have to rework everything from the start. Oh, her sandals are almost done. Oh, and also I love Cyberpunk 2077 environments. Sometimes I just drive around and look at the scenery. It's a huge map. I have Cyberpunk because obviously it's CD Projekt Red and I just had to support them. But I'm not a huge fan of like very sci-fi games. And it was quite buggy when it just first released, so I kind of abandoned it at the very start, unfortunately. Yeah, I would be keen to check out like behind the scenes, showing off all the environments that they've created because I'm sure they're breathtaking. I'm a really odd kind of gamer because I'm a 3D artist as well. So I'll go into the game like Witcher or whatever, Forbidden West, and I'll go up close to like trees to analyze the textures, or I'll just like walk backwards and forwards from one shrub to see how the LODs change. Yeah. That's me. Well, let's create the final piece, which is the middle part. And the way I would create that would be I want to get really clean topology, so I might try and use the curve strap snap, but with a smaller diameter. Do I still have, yep, I have liquid turned on. Whoops. Maybe even smaller. Okay, that's what I want to create. No, it doesn't affect that, does it? Merge down. Now in here I can say group by normals. Now delete these two and these two. What? Using our old rusty ZBrush or ZModeler, sorry. I can bridge these two together. We're going to bridge two holes, arcs. It even gave me one edge as I needed. Now I can mask it. sort of move it down. Cute. It's definitely improved since the first release. I also had a lot of bugs at launch and only started playing earlier this year. Ooh. I've seen some funny bugs of the T-pose when you would walk into location and characters would stand like this. Then they would like quickly switch to their like active pose or whatever. That was fun to see. I wonder if I can just cheat it. Yep. How you create the hair. You can go back a few streams and watch the full process. It's a lot of steps involved, so I'm not gonna show it here because it will take like half an hour, which is all the time that I have, and I really want to finish the sandals. You can go back maybe 4 or 5 streams ago. I was making her hair. I generally start from like masking out the sculpt area, then going to extract and extracting it. Then I'm just pushing and pulling the hair until I'm satisfied with the silhouette. But yeah, that's the start. Now I need to fill in this gap in between, and I'm thinking what would be the best way to do it. I can Ctrl+Shift+D, then I can delete hidden, auto groups, delete that one, and now let's get rid of those. And now I can say close hole or something like concave curve. Yep, that's not bad. Let's just insert some edge loops here. Now I have the geometry on the inside. Pretty cool trick if you ever need to fill in the hole, or you need to find, like, not find, but create a geometry that will fill in any sort of outline. I can zero mesh it now. Hmm. This will do for now. Or I could also use topology tool. Create really clean topology in almost no time. Should have done that from the start. But welcome. Okay, now all that's left is to model the gem that connects two pieces. I'm sure I have a gem already. Yeah, we can just duplicate it. Let's isolate the middle one and delete hidden. Yep, white green on the concept and the gems that she has in her earrings. Now let's do group by normals. Let's delete all of those nasty end caps that create problems later down the line. Mirror node. Oh, wanted to ask you guys, have you seen Oppenheimer yet? I watched it this Saturday. I mean, last Saturday for me. If you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna spoil anything, just saying, really good movie, and if you're sensitive to sound, maybe bring earmuffs or something, because I sure was, and I ended up wearing like a hood from my hoodie and then like a beanie on top of it just to mute the sound a little bit. I mean, I should have known this much. It's a Christopher Nolan movie. The score was amazing though, and the cast is insane. Was it good? No, it was phenomenal. It was one of the best movies I've seen in years. Really good. You're just glued to the screen because there's a lot of dialogue. And you need to know or have a little bit of a historical context in mind. But most of people who are familiar with just like basic history knowledge from school, they should understand the context. Okay, deleted those. Okay, almost done. I don't like the whole anti-CGI thing that Christopher Nolan is spreading. Recently seen a bunch of harassment on Twitter against people that have done VFX work on films. That's not why I said that the movie was good, nor do I care about Christopher Nolan ideology. All I care about is whether the movie was good, and it was really good. I'm not trying to be political here or say that I'm pro-Nolan or anti-Nolan. I was aware that he is really into getting everything done in camera. And it's just one director that likes to do it this way. I know Wes Anderson also likes to do a lot of practical stuff, and I adore his movies. They're just so beautiful. I don't know, I just have a lot of respect for the craft. I know there is a writer's strike going on right now in the States, and a lot of people in the industry get laid off at the moment. And it's terrible, but my personal opinion, if the movie is good, and there was a lot of work put into it by both the director himself and the huge crew that worked on it for years, as well as actors, makeup artists, set dressers, supervisors, cameramen. Just can't take it away from them by saying that Christopher Nolan sucks. Okay. Sandals are looking fun. Hi from Moldova. Hi. Yeah, I hope I didn't offend you in any way. Just sharing my opinion. Maybe this should be a little bit lighter. And I should probably combine them all into one. It's definitely not his fault, but it's definitely not helping the public image. So you think because he's promoting anti-CGI, 3D artist is suffering from it? That's why I'm not on Twitter, guys. Maybe I am, but I am never there. I think I have an account, and I've never tweeted anything in my life. Nor am I ever there. I don't have it downloaded on my phone. just because of how much hate and how much unnecessary hate, to be precise, there is. I just don't really need it in my life. I know it can sound very vain, but I really started taking care of my mental health in the past few years, and social media is sort of this catalyst for depression and aggression and all of those nasty stuff. Yeah, sandals andando. I can turn up her feet and turn on her body. Oh, obviously not 100% there. I'd also like to rotate these guys a bit. Yeah, I'll now add her 2 more arms. What's that? Hi, why can't we export the texture maps out of ZBrush? Because when we export it, don't export material, just color texture and oh. Well, you can't export materials out of ZBrush. You can't use them in any other software. All you can export out is texture maps and then set up materials in the other software that you need. There is no way you can export out materials though. They're native to ZBrush and they only work in ZBrush, I believe. The color texture and AO, that's what textures are. But not the materials, not the matte caps. Cool, so I've done that. She's fully dressed now, and I have 13 minutes left. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat right now. So we need Substance Painter, thank you for the answer. Well, in Substance Painter you'll only texture furthermore, you will not render out of there. There is like an IPR renderer there, but it's very similar to like what ZBrush does. It's not a fully fledged renderer. You need a third-party software like Maya or 3ds Max or Blender or Cinema 4D or man, there's so many more that you can use. Yeah, you need one of those to render out an image. You can also use Keyshots. What else is there? Marmoset Toolbag. There are lots of software that allow you to fully render out your final image. You can even do it out of ZBrush if you want. That's basically rendering. But I'm guessing because you want to export out your textures, you want to render it out in a different software. Substance Painter is not for rendering. No, you can other free software like Blender. Yeah, you can use Blender, sure. What are some of your favorite animations that inspired you or you feel have great character designs? Ooh, good question. Too good. Favorite animations would be Studio Ghibli movies like Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind and Princess Mononoke. Howl's Moving Castle. They are my 3 favorite movies of all time from Studio Ghibli. And I do believe they have fantastic character designs and really strong color combinations in the character designs themselves. What else? Pixar has inspired me for a while with I think it was Soul. I really loved that movie. But truly every movie that they release has a very distinct character style. Whether that be Luca with very round eyes and round mouths and like jelly bean fingers. Or Soul that I mentioned with very long and skinny legs and limbs and whatnot, and very caricature faces in there. I really like how they experiment with styles, and I'm mostly inspired by Pixar, not Disney so much. For industry game characters, it's best practice to keep the hair together like a helmet, or can you keep the strands separate meshes? I find when I combine them my retopo gets messy. I definitely keep them separate for retopo. I don't work in the game industry, but I can say that they use card a lot, unless they use hair geometry, which is like a stylization choice. Then it will really depend on the rig. If it's a main character, then I would imagine some strands will need to be separate so they can move independently. But yeah, it's more of a rigging question, really. Can you keep the strands separate meshes? I would keep them separate for retopology and retopologize them separately, and then talk to the rigger in my team and decide from there, because it will really depend on the studio and really depend on their workflow, how they rig their hair. So yeah. Roblox. It's Roblox. Yes, I love all of those movies as well. I also love Arcane's art style and animation. Amazing work. Yeah, I forgot to mention that, but my whole other project that I'm working on right now is fully inspired by Arcane. I've showed it many times, but I'll show it again because it keeps me accountable for finishing it. Sorry guys. Yeah, Arcane was a huge inspiration for me as well. I was a bit late to the game because everyone watched it straight after it came out in like 2020, I believe. Was it? Or a bit earlier than that. And I only watched Arcane last year, in 2022. Or even this year. And that's Zeri, another muse of mine. She's fully retopologized in Maya. I have her in Maya right now, but 40% of this character was done in ZBrush, as in like retopology wise. All of it was sculpted in ZBrush and modeled. Just needed some help with retopology from another software. Not to say that you can't do it in ZBrush, it was just my personal choice. Yeah, and the subtool palette is a mess as always. For game or animation, we use card here. For animation, you usually don't use card here. You use grooming, which is the process of setting up a set of curves that will determine like sort of hair particles to grow in the direction of those curves that you create. For games, yeah, cards. Some games even use like their inbuilt grooming tools as well. It's a thing now with Unreal Engine 5, I believe. Oh, looks awesome. What's her name? Oh, her name is Zeri. She is a champion from League of Legends. She just never appeared in Arcane, and I just decided that I want to make a character that wasn't in the show already, but in the same style as the show. So that's why I made her. Oh, it's funny because I love Arcane, but I don't play League. Neither. I don't play League, but I've seen lots of champions from there. They have really cool designs. Speaking of which, yeah, really good and strong colors, really good shapes. You look at her, she's really recognizable from her silhouette alone. With this really baggy jacket and those pointy pigtails. That's what good character design looks like. I based her off the concept from League, or from, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was an official concept from League of Legends, like art department. Was it Riot Games? Riot Games, yeah. Do you also do rigging? No. No. Not interested. It would be good to have the skill, but I don't have it, and I'm fine with that. Oh, did I forget to flip them? Sweet. Okay, guys. It's 3 minutes from when I have to go, so if you have any questions, please drop them now. Otherwise, I'm done for today. Not sure if you're still interested in seeing more about this character, because I've been on it for 2 months now. And I don't mind working on it in my own time. But if you do, I'll continue working on her. There's still a few things that need to be done, but I'm really happy that I made her sandals today. It's minus one thing to take care of. Thanks for the stream, it was great seeing your work. Thank you. That's really nice of you. I'll just do something like this. Yep. No more questions, I guess. Then let me shamelessly plug myself in. You can follow me on Instagram, ArtStation, and Telegram. Everywhere it's Layla Viscu. I try to post updates there. On Instagram, I posted an update about this stream last night before I went to bed, and then the story never fully loaded and I just locked the screen. And if you've ever been in the same situation as me, you know that the story never uploads that way. So I woke up to discover that none of my followers from Instagram knew that I was streaming. But hey, you guys still showed up. That's a good thing. What else can I say? Yeah, with her, I'm thinking of trying to make this dress out of Marvelous, just to see what it looks like. Plus I found this artist from whom I've been using these references. She is a cosplayer artist and she has her own Patreon where she sells patterns to sew your own dress, the whole costume. So I'm thinking of buying it because it's only like $30, I believe. And then if I have patterns, I can sew them in Marvelous, which will be sort of like closer to the game version, I guess. But we'll see about that. I think my brain just wants an extra challenge. That would be cool to see. I can't show Marvelous Designer here, but yeah, maybe I'll share some stuff on social media. Did you use Marvelous Designer? I've used it in the past, but I haven't used it here yet. This was all sculpted, as you can see. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next Monday, same time, same place. Yep.